Hey guys, I'm back with another GoPro tips and tricks video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can calculate how long your time lapse is going to be, or more importantly, how often you have to shoot photos to make your time lapse a certain length. There's this kind of theory that, well, if you're going to shoot a time lapse, you might as well just shoot at 0.5 frames per second or 2 frames per second. Because that's kind of what the GoPro can do. But really, if you're going to do that, you're going to end up with maybe some very long time lapses if you shoot time lapses for a while, and then you're also going to fill your card perhaps before you're finished with what you want to shoot. If you've plugged your camera into an external power source, you're going to definitely fill your card before your camera dies. So sometimes it's nice to do a quick calculation before you start to find out exactly how often you have to shoot photos to get a time lapse the length you want it. This would be useful to maybe say, I want to shoot a time lapse for 5 hours and I want to be able to play it back in 30 seconds. So using this formula I'm going to give you now, you would be able to do that and then only shoot enough photos to do exactly that. So the first step is we start with the total time of the thing we want to shoot in seconds. So we start with our total time in seconds. And now if you don't know how to convert to seconds, well, you just take the number of minutes you want to do and multiply it by 60. And that gives you total time in 60. Then you divide this number by the frames per second that you're going to want to play your time lapse back at. So if you're going to play back at 24 frames per second, you'll divide your total time by 24. If you want to play back at 30 frames per second, you divide your total time by 30. 60 divided by 60. And then we divide this number by the length of the time lapse you're going to record. So this is the total time of the thing we're recording divided by the frames per second we're going to play it back at, and then divided by the length of the time lapse we're trying to create. And this entire thing is going to give us the delay, or the seconds between photos. So this will give us how often we should shoot photos. Of course, now the GoPro doesn't have an unlimited range of selection, so this will give you a rough idea, and then you can basically just round to whatever's closest. To see this in action, perhaps we should do a calculation. Let's say I want to shoot, I want to shoot a 6-hour time lapse. So I start with 6 hours. We'd then just get our calculator out. We start with 6 hours. We'd multiply that by 60 minutes per hour, and then we multiply that by 60 seconds per minute. That would give us a rather large number. But that's our total time in seconds. So this will be our first number here. Then we divide that by our frame playback rate. So that's going to be 30 frames per second. And then we take that number and we divide that by the length we want our time lapse to be in seconds. So maybe my answer here, 72, is going to be the delay between photos in seconds. So GoPros can't shoot 72 second delay between photos. They can shoot 30 seconds or a minute, but that's pretty close to 60-second delay. So if I shoot 60 seconds if I say there's 60-second delay or a 1-minute delay, I'll get pretty close to a 10-second time lapse by the time I'm done. But let's say, guys, that you've already taken your time lapse and now you're just curious how long it's going to be. Well, the simple way to do that, all you have to do is take the total number of photos that you've taken and divide it by the frame rate you're planning to play them back at. So if you want to play back at 30 frames per second, you would divide the number of photos you've got by the frames per second you're planning to play them back at, and that will equal the total time that your time lapse is going to run for. So that's just the number of photos that you've taken over the frames per second that you're going to play them back at, and that will give you the total playback time of your time lapse. So these guys are just two really, really quick calculations you can do before you shoot your time lapse and after you shot it, just to give you a very rough idea of what you can expect. So guys, thanks for watching this another GoPro tips and tricks video. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe, check out my channel for lots more videos, and like the video. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you've got a comment that you really want me to respond to, I'm having a little bit of trouble right now responding to YouTube comments because they've got a new comment system and it's really a pain in the ass to respond to. So if you want to respond to or you've got a question you want me to answer, the best spot you can do is head on over to the GoPro Tips Facebook page. A link to that is in the description of the video. and post your question there. I can respond to that much more easily than the YouTube comments right now. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching.